pessimistic penguins on the South Pole, and they were depressed for one big reason. Somehow they found out, maybe they Googled it, I don't know, they found out they're the only species of bird that don't know how to fly. And they were terribly upset, like clinically depressed. So the head of the penguin colony called a coach. And he said, hey, I don't know if you can do anything about my people here, my penguins, but they're depressed as hell. I don't know what to do. Some are on meds. It's not working. Is there anything you can do? They found, is there anything you can do? Because they found out they can't fly, and it's really like attacked their self-esteem. So the coach said, sure. I recommend coming in, doing like a workshop one morning, and not only will I put them in better spirits, but I'll make sure that when they leave there, they can fly. So the head of the penguin colony books this engagement. Well, they thought they booked the engagement at one facility, but it ended up having to be at another facility at the last minute. And they brought in this coach to coach up these penguins on the South Pole, these depressed, sad, pessimistic penguins.
Put that on the postcard.
So the first half of the workshop was it was all about the theory. He handed out, you know, a workbook that explained like physics and just the biomechanics of flight, navigation. It was all theory. They took a little break in the second half of the workshop. Before the second half of the workshop even happened, a bunch of the penguins got nervous and they just cut out and they left. The ones that remained came back to a room. They had ladders set up all around the room. Each penguin had his or her own ladder. And this was like where you take the theory and you put it into practice. So the coach had the penguins get up on the first rung of the ladder, and he explained to them, there are just two things keeping you from being able to fly. The first thing is, you just need to flap harder. What's the first thing?
Flap harder.
What is it?
Flap harder.
And the second thing is, you just need to believe more. You don't believe in yourselves enough. You just need to believe more. What's the second thing?
Believe more.
The first thing?
Flap harder.
Second thing?
Believe more. Flap harder. Believe more.
So they got up on the first rung of the ladder and they flapped harder than they ever flapped before in their little penguin lives. And they believed more than they ever did before. And they jumped and splat. Didn't fly. They thought maybe they didn't have enough altitude to start off with. So they got up on the second rung of the ladder. And they learned they need to flap harder than they did the first time. They need to believe even more strongly in their ability to fly. And they need to jump. So they jump and splat. And here's what's happening. They're just doing nosedives, hitting the deck on the ground.
On the ground.
They're breaking their beaks. They're fracturing their wings. Some of them have blood on them. A bunch of them are tapping out. They refuse to do this anymore. But then there was this one penguin, the one courageous penguin. I think his name was Derek. And Derek, being as persevering as he is, decides he's going to set the example. He's going to lead by example. He goes all the way to the top of the ladder. Well, almost all the way.
Third row.
And he's going to flap harder than he has ever flapped in his life. Believe more than he did the last time he went up there. And he is going to take the plunge and jump. So he jumps.
Watch Winnie.
And he manages, before he hits the deck, to get a little altitude. And he's flapping. And the next thing you know, it's a little shaky, but he's flying. So he's flying around this conference room. And a funny thing happened. As he's making laps around the conference room, he's flying. All the other penguins see Derek doing it. And they say to themselves, by God, if he can do it, we can do it. So the next thing you know, they all climb up to the top of the ladder. They're all flapping, flapping, flapping. They take off. They start flying. They all start flying. They're flying around the room. They're high-fiving each other as they're going around. And then the next thing that happens, they all come in for a nice soft landing. The coach looks at the head of the penguin colony, points at them, says, my work here is done. Collects his big fat check and goes home. Now here's the funny thing that happened. When the penguins left, what did they do? They opened the door and they all walked home. They all walked home.
They forgot to fly. Didn't learn anything.
So now this is where we're all in this story. We go to a workshop, we have a meeting, we do professional development, we learn a new skill, something valuable we can add to our toolbox.
And we don't use it.
But then when we leave, we walk out, we don't fly out, we walk out, and we return to our default setting and we do what we've done the same way we've always done it, the day before, the week before, the month before, the year before. If you do things the same way you've always done it, you don't apply a new skill that you have in your toolbox, you're going to get the same results you got last week, last month, last year. And we all want to fly a little higher with our revenue, right? So we need to take action on something new.